Good morning, Michael Berryman. How are you, sir?
Doing good. It's a lovely morning here in Michigan. It's a little chilly. Just had some breakfast and my coffee. And yeah, I'm low tech. You're high tech. You're a lot sharper image. But hey, what are you going to
No,
do?
that's okay. So you mentioned Michigan. The last time we spoke, you were in Florida, I believe. You moved to Michigan?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Well, that's quite a drastic change. I have limited time with you, so I want to just get to it here. You are an iconic horror movie actor. I mean, I've watched you, gosh, forever. Some of the scariest films ever you have been in, and I can imagine what kind of psychological toll that could also take on someone. So can you just talk to me about that and how you're able to separate all of that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, okay. I was born in 1948. My father went to Nagasaki and Hiroshima at the end of the war. He was a Marine brain surgeon, actually. So he comes home, and guess what? Radiation followed him, and I had birth defects. Okay. Skull reconstructed at Children's Hospital, et cetera, et cetera. Lifetime of, what's this about? Yeah. So you learn to take care of, what your needs are as you move through life. But
Mm.
if you go back to the 1950s and early 60s, a lot of the sci-fi horror films were based on premises that pretty much talked about the genie out of the bottle being, the nuclear age, etc. So what I've always believed and seen and put into my characters is that number one, if you're the bad guy or the scary guy or the protagonist, you have to bring it up to a high enough level to where the hero has something to, confront. They have the dark night of the soul. They don't know if they're going to be able to survive, et cetera, et cetera. And then, um, by gosh, by God, they at the end of the day, um, they prevail. Okay, that's kind of a philosophy of life that I've had my entire life. And as far as playing the bad guy, there are limits. There are certain things I will not do in a scene or creating a character. I've had situations where um, they want a graphic action, and I would say no. We could uh, cut past and then let the actor respond to after the fact, so to speak. So you have to
Okay.
be your own person, basically. But we do like if we don't scare you, then we haven't done our job because when we're scaring you, you're not thinking about where you parked the car. The kids need braces, didn't pay the gas bill, whatever. Yeah, it's called entertainment.
Yes.
You
Yes.
escape into a new reality.
Yeah, and you do. You want to lose yourself in these films. You said something interesting. I've talked to quite a few actors who I think it's amazing that they have this limit. Because listen, Michael, you do meet a lot of actors who are like, I just want to work, I'll do whatever, and they tend to lose their sense of morality. Where do you draw the line? What is something that you're like, no, I'm not doing that?
Well, I can give you examples, but
Yeah.
basically, it comes down to ethics.
Mm,
Um, what are you? Who are you? If you don't draw the lines within your own choices of behavior, and they are your choices, you let out the clutch, you put it in gear, and you go forward. Sometimes you need to just park the car, so to speak. Um, Number
yeah.
one, I've never done graphic violence to women, children, or animals, for instance. Um, there are there are some things that some directors and writers want to accomplish so they can get a press release that goes, "Oh my God, you won't believe how horrific this is." They're going for ratings
Yeah.
as opposed to telling a story. I like to
Yeah.
stick to the story and keep it art instead of shock the monkey.
And that's lovely. And you've worked with God, some incredible people. Wes Craven. I mean, listen, I One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one of my
Uh,
favorite movies of all time. You work with Jack Nicholson, Danny DeVito. Can you share just your experience or any fun stories behind the scenes?
sure. Well, number one, it was my second day as an actor. I'd only worked one day prior in the industry, and it was by um, happenstance that I met George Powell, and he said, "Hey, you have a look I made. I could put it in a movie." And I said, "I'm not an actor. I'm going to homestead in Alaska." Well, if you read my book, it's all good. It's available on Amazon.
Okay.
I describe how that took place. Um, so I'd worked one day, got a check, had a SAG card, and I go, "Oh, I'm getting ready to go to Alaska and homestead." And then I get a phone call from George Powell's casting director, and then we did Cuckoo's Nest. So we worked at a real state hospital that was a real doctor that ran the place. Some of the patients, the real patients, got permission to be in the movie. Um,
Wow.
I
I got chills. Sorry. I'm like, oh
I
God.
was surprised at how down to earth Jack Nicholson was. We became a family. We worked 6 days a week in Salem, Oregon. We would get off work. The town would pretty much shut down by 7:30, 8 o'clock. So we pretty much lived in the hotel for
Yeah.
months and months and months. And we all became very good friends. Everybody was kind of thinking that at the end of the film that they would have a special wing just for us because, maybe we were crazy. We-
I
And we,
mean,
we
that's
made
so
we made friends for life, and the
yeah,
talent was incredible. I learned so much
incredible.
about cinematography. We worked with the Panavision cameras and carbon arc lighting. Try that on a newbie actor; they wouldn't even know how to behave.
Yeah.
So we learned our art, and I'm forever grateful.
Yeah. I mean that God, I could watch that movie literally over and over again. And one movie I cannot watch over and over again because it's so terrifying, but this is you're just iconic is The Hills Have Eyes. Now
Yeah.
that one I would imagine you would have to decompress after every day of shooting because it's so terrifying.
Well, the conditions were very challenging. We were in the high desert north of LA. It was hot in the daytime, cold at night. Um, we didn't have a lot of luxuries. We had one trailer to do makeup, hair, and
What?
wardrobe, etc. And
One?
um, it was a blessing because the friends that I made on that film, are the ones that are still around. We're still in touch. There was um, we rolled up our sleeves and just did nitty gritty. We didn't think it would take off, but it created a. Yeah, Wes
Yeah.
was wonderful, quiet,
Yeah.
competent. Peter Locke and Barry Kahn were very supportive. And
Mm.
Susan and everybody else we worked with were, and Ruby, Janice Blythe. We all just rolled up our sleeves, and she actually picked up that rattlesnake. That was a very dangerous rattlesnake. It was a
Oh,
Mojave
she
Green.
did?
Their
Wait, she
neuro
actually
and
did.
muscle talk. Do what?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
She
it got
actually
loose
did
during
pick
lunch.
that up.
It got loose during lunch one day. Um, well, we needed a snake handler, and we didn't have the budget for a reptilian
Yeah.
expert. So they went to the local bar out in
Yeah.
Lucerne Valley, and we're talking the middle of yeah. And they go, "Hey, we're doing a movie up the
Wow.
road, and anybody got, how we can get a snake?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, I got a pet rattlesnake." So that just kind of gives you an idea of the professional uh, snake handlers
Wow.
we had.
I
We're
mean,
lucky
that's
nobody
so
got
funny.
injured.
I
Well,
love
they
hearing that.
happen.
And I love to read. I don't think I was aware that you had written this book. I don't know if we discussed this in our last interview, and that was years ago. So I'll have to plug your book in the episode notes here, and I'm gonna have to read it myself because, Michael, I really think that you're so inspirational. Just to close this interview, like what would you tell people? What do you tell people? What advice would you give them if maybe that they're not this blonde-haired blue-eyed actor, cookie cutter style? What would you say to them if they're hesitant about joining the industry?
For someone who wanted to be an actor,
Hmm. Anybody.
um, well, first of all, if you're going to be an actor, study the craft, study film, know how to tell the story, learn about writing, ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, you want to kind of know what everybody's job is. Lighting. What do they put the mark on the floor? How important is it to have my head this way or this way or this way, depending upon what lens the director is using in that particular take. Study
Yeah.
still photography. Not all computerized. There's so many basics. Stage is good. Learning how to project your voice. Um, Continuity is critically important. Like for instance, um, we're having a conversation as a glass of water, or take a drink, and then the water, the water's less, for instance. Take two, going again. Well, somebody has to
Yeah.
fill the cup to where it was. Otherwise, people, they start noticing those little things, they become distractions. So there's a lot of attention to detail. Bottom line is you be professional, you show up prepared, you don't go out and party and get stupid, and none of that stuff really matters. Um, the main thing is everybody deserves to have every member of the group, cast and crew, prepared, ready to rock and roll, stay sharp, because you're trying to convey the story that the writers and the directors have a vision about.
Yeah.
And that is called being professional. As far as dealing with life and situations, I've always kind of just, okay, what's in front of me? If I trip and stumble, stub my toe, whatever, that hurt. Well, that didn't work very well. Maybe I should try a different approach. Well, that didn't work either. Maybe I should go in another direction.
Yeah.
You kind of
Yeah.
have to be your own leader. And that's true in every aspect of life. And you also have to have your own moral compass. And by that, I mean, um, are you going to cross that line? What if somebody offers you something to cross that line?
Yeah.
Well, if it goes
Yeah.
beyond your parameters of your ethics, then you're kind of cheating. You're selling yourself short. So
Yeah.
I've been the same my whole life. Yeah, to some exceptions, as far as sometimes I'm more brilliant than others. Other days.
Okay, that's all of us, dude. That's literally all of us. There's certain days that I'm like, did I really freaking say that? I'm so embarrassed. And then the next day, I'll surprise myself and I'll be like, wow, I should give myself more credit. But yeah, got those days where I'm like, I just want to give up. I cannot believe yeah. But I've
Yeah.
taken up way too much of your time. I feel bad. Art's
No, no, you
probably
did.
texting me. We have to go. We have to go. He's probably, Art, I probably don't have enough. I have more time? Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I could talk to you all day. I mean, you're so lovely, Michael. And like I said, I have interviewed you before, and normally I don't really do I guess repeated people on the podcast, but I loved you the first time we spoke, and I believe it was soon after COVID. And
Right.
I think you're so inspirational, and it's nice. You're really scary in these movies, and you're so kind, and you're so well spoken, and you're like,
Well,
yeah, you're like my dad or like my uncle next door. So it's nice, you know?
right. Well, it's been my experience that people that play the heavies are usually kind of the most, humanity rising, pretty chill.
Yes.
It's like it's not like they have something to prove, so to speak. Yeah,
Right,
go about your
right.
business and don't let, you're telling a story. It's not necessarily, like I've
Yeah.
had people go, oh, do you eat babies? No, no. That was in the movie, but it was an
Yes.
implied
Yes.
situation. But no, I mean,
Yes.
but what are you going to do? I say, make tomorrow a better day.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Michael Berryman, this has been so amazing. Thank you for making my day. I so appreciate it. I'm going to plug your book. I'm going to plug all of your social
I
medias,
appreciate that very
and
much.
I loved speaking with you. So thank you so much.